Right, it's Blue Crab Fest today. I'm going to be doing a blue crab bisque with some marinated crab claws.
And I'm going to be doing a little blue crab cakes with a little soybean succotash. So crab all around. I've got a lot of stuff going on up here at one time. I decided to take over the stage with all the burners up here. Thank God Brian just brought one pot. He's a pretty smart chef. He knows how to do it pretty easy. But for all of my stuff, there's a lot of basic cooking going on up here, a lot of easy stuff. We're going to start off making a bechamel. That's going to be the base for our crab cakes. So right here, this little first saute pan, I get a little milk getting hot. It's kind of steeping up, a little salt and pepper in that. And we'll add a little bit of roux, just make a basic white sauce, basic bechamel. On this far left pot over here, making a corn cream. That's going to be the base for the succotash. Our succotash is going to have a little soybean in it, a little corn, bell pepper, a little garlic, fresh basil, a little white wine, and some red onion. So with the corn part of it, what I do is I take some fresh ears of corn, a little clarified butter, salt and pepper, kind of rub them down, and char them on the grill nice and good. Cut that off the cob, set it to the side. For the corn cream, I take those saved up corn cobs, just kind of steep that in some heavy whipping cream, a little salt and white pepper, and that's it. Very easy. Prior to that, I'm gonna, the sauce is actually gonna be, we're gonna do an aioli today. We're gonna make a little homemade aioli with some ball. This is a Vietnamese chili paste. It gives it it's not too spicy at all, but it gives kind of a tang to the sauce for the crab cakes. It goes along great with the succotash and the crab. So that's my start, and I'm going to kind of get some stuff going on while Brian talks to y'all for a second.
All right. So we're going to do again, keeping it simple. When you start with great product like Louisiana blue crab, you don't have to do much to it. These are gumbo crabs. You can buy these at any little seafood mart or use whole crabs if you want. But this is just blue crabs taken from the time of year that they don't have too much meat in them, and so they sell it relatively cheap, like $2 a pound. And it's basically crab bodies that do have a little fat in them, but not a whole lot of meat. And we would take that and cook it in water with onion, celery, some leek tops, and some peppercorns, and make a crab stock. I'd usually let that cook for 30 to 45 minutes. So I've already made my crab stock. We'll be using that here in a second, but these are the bodies that we make the crab stock with. And all we're going to do for the soup really is chop up some vegetables. We got some yellow onion going here, and I'm also using fennel, which is kind of like an onion. It grows like this underground, just like an onion would, but it's got this big green stalks, and it has a licorice flavor. It's got an anise flavor, and that's going to come out pretty strong in the soup. And then we're also going to do a little diced celery, and that'll help infuse our crab stock as well. This soup is a bisque. A true bisque is always made with shellfish. It'll always have heavy cream and some brandy. And we're going to use all three of those ingredients here today. This is just a little olive oil, getting our pot hot. Not too much. And we'll go ahead and start adding some of those vegetables to the pot. Feel free.
Now, start off with succotash. Normally what I do, I got a little rendered bacon here, because I just love Louisiana crab meat and some good bacon. And I saved that little bacon fat to cook down my succotash with. So I got a little clarified butter here with a little bacon fat added to it. So I added to the pan, just a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and throw in a little bit of red. I'm going to turn this pot down for a second. If I can find the right knot. There we go. So we're going to add in the onion first. We'll just kind of stir that around a little bit, And so we are here today to feature Louisiana seafood, guys. Seafood out there is fabulous right now. We got shrimp, oysters, crab meat. Today we're featuring nice crab meat. Just to tell you all a little something about myself, I worked for Brian about 5 years with Galatoire's. I ran his kitchen in Baton Rouge, the Galatoire's Bistro. And actually just recently, up until, I guess it was August, I moved on and decided to open my own restaurant up. And I did that in Baton Rouge. It's called Beausoleil. It's a smaller restaurant, about 85 seats, and the whole concept of it is to bring a New Orleans style restaurant to Baton Rouge. Bring something new up there, you know, to the Baton Rouge folk. And it's actually going over very well. So we're getting a lot of good hits. So if y'all ever in the area, come by and see us at Beau Soleil. Be great. So I'm going to add a little red bell pepper to this. And the succotash is just a mixture of sauteed vegetables. That's really all it is. And normally you use lima beans. I'm from Mississippi, and we usually call them pooters back home. But we want to use succotash because we can get local soybeans in the area, which is very nice. I'm having a hard time seeing what's going on. There we go. So we can kind of saute that a little bit. We got the roux going right now too. We'll give that a stir. Can't forget about that. And pretty much with the corn cream, it came up to a nice bubble, had a nice little foam on there. Turned it to very, very low heat, and just let it steep. And that corn to get good flavor. And Brian's talking about gumbo crabs over here. You know, in a sense, Brian, he was one of my mentors coming up in the kitchen. He showed me a lot of things, a lot of good tricks, and which I always give this credit to Brian, which I can't find it right now. It's a crab butter that I took for him that I use in my recipes too. It's a crab butter. It's not in the recipe today because I just made it to bring up here. I wasn't sure if I was going to have it or not, but it's the same things. Gumbo crabs, and it's just cooked down with whole butter. Then you re-whip it with some more butter, and you got this fabulous crab butter that goes great with everything. And we use that to mount our succotash with. So, nice little addition there from Brian Landry. So we're going to add a little soybean to this. Yeah, nice, good colors. We got the good red onion, the red bell pepper, some green from the succotash. And be sure to always season your food throughout the whole process, right? And one of the most important things I get on my cooks nowadays about is taste your food, right? I mean, how you know where it's at without tasting it? So, always taste it. So we got it down, everything down to low heat, bechamel simmering. Chef Brian's got his onions going. Yeah. They're smelling good.
Onion, celery, fennel. Actually smashed a couple of cloves of garlic. Just a real rough chop. At the end of this process, we're going to use one of those little hand mixers and blend it all together. So you don't have to worry about the cuts being all nice and pretty as long as they're nice and small enough to go through the blender. So the garlic's the same way. Now we're going to add a little bit of our dry spices. This is a little bit of paprika. And we're going to use a little bit of turmeric. We have some chili flakes. There you go. Bay leaf. Now we're just going to add a little bit of tomato paste as well. Give that all a stir. And on the turmeric's going to give our crab bisque a nice golden hue. And what we want to remind you of is the golden fat that you would normally find in a crab. That rich, delicious fat, crab fat.
It's good stuff. Great stuff. Everyone likes crab meat, Louisiana crabs, yeah? It's good stuff, huh? All right, so normally when you're making a bechamel, you know, don't use a spoon. Bring a whisk, you know? Why didn't I bring a whisk? I don't know. Brian brought a whisk. There we go, perfect. So again, use a whisk. It's going to help get those clunks out. Like I said again.
Bechamel is like Nathan said, just milk thickened with roux. When you're cooking your bechamel, always make sure to keep stirring it, whether you use a spoon or a whisk, because it can scorch real easily, and you don't want that, it can get a real nasty burnt taste if you're not watching it, but he's doing great over here. All right, our vegetables are nice and tender, so what we're going to do now is deglaze with a little bit of brandy. And that's going to help take any little parts and pieces of vegetables that are stuck to the bottom of the pot off. Keep our soup from scorching as well.